when you are working on yourself, and you're doing this kind of self-coaching, this entire program is to enable you to coach yourself, right? And have you been able to do this in the first part? Yes? Okay. And please write the notes at the end of each session so that nothing escapes you. Now, it is very, very important that you map your progress. Because otherwise, your mind, with its negativity bias, will say, oh, you did the whole program, but your improvement, self-growth is minimal, which is not the case. It's 100% not the case, but your negativity bias will tell you that. Therefore, the session I'm doing today and the one I'm doing on Thursday, because Friday I think we've got some event here, they are both teaching you which are the stages, 4 stages of growth. Today, I'm going to do 2 stages with you. On Thursday, I'll do the remaining 2 stages with you. And that completes one whole section in itself. Okay? So is that clear? So conscious mapping of inner growth. Now just imagine that as teachers, that if you taught something, but you did not assess, now in this case, it is self-assess, then would there be any way of knowing whether the material has been understood and learned or not learned? No. So it's the same with this. This section is very, very important. Now let's start. I have given it the acronym CARS, CARS, for the 4 stages. The 4 stages are C for commit, A for act, R for review, and S for share. So I will do commit and act with you today. What is this commit? What does commit involve? The most important step, which is the willingness to change your perception. Now, if you say, I'm fine the way I am, people should take me as I am, this is my life, this is my way of behaving, I'm not likely to change, well, nothing can happen. So this is a very, very important stage, which is willingness to change your perception. Also, in any relationship, I'm doing a lot of relationship wellness courses. Any relationship, if you feel that you're always right and the other person is wrong, you go on with that blame game. You will not at all want to change. Nothing can be done. It's your free will. So the first step is willingness to change. Second step is changing perceptions with the mind. The third step, review, is changing perceptions with expanded awareness, expanded consciousness. And the last stage is living in the flow and sharing the precious knowledge, the elixir. Okay? And as teachers, you will be doing that. So, let's go through this. And these 4 can be applied to any area of your life. So, let's look at it carefully. Any questions? Jump in and ask, huh? As usual. Right. So, commit. Commit involves a willingness to change. In metaphoric terms, it would be a call to adventure. Something happens in your life and you are invited to make a change. This is, Joseph Campbell called it the call to adventure. Come, let's adventure. Let's go on an adventure into your inner landscape. You could accept the call or you could reject the call. Completely up to you. With divine discontent, weary of being weary, we move out of the victim stage. If you accept that something about you needs change, what are you doing? What are you taking on, students? taking on responsibility, not blame, not so harsh. You are taking on responsibility. Therefore, you stop being a victim. You stop saying, oh, this is happening to me. This is how life deals cards to me. All the worst cards in the pack are given to me. Poor me, you know. I don't deserve it. I deserve something better. Now, if you get locked in that stage, you are not likely to change. Simple. So, literally, sometimes you say, I'm depressed, and I'm depressed, I'm depressed for 5 days, I'm depressed. Then you suddenly say, well, enough of it. You know, I don't like being in this state. I'm going to get out. The minute you say that, there shows that there is a willingness to change. Okay? So, with divine discontent, weary of being weary, we move out of the victim state. My parents did it to me, my family did it to me, my teachers did it to me. Go on and on and on. It's happening to me, to us, the victim state. And the blame and shame stories that we think of and often share at pity parties. When you tell your friends will perhaps, because they love you, they will say, oh, poor you, of course you don't deserve it. Of course you deserve something better. You get that? So that will keep. That is why you need to do your self-coaching rather than just run to somebody. I'm very respectful of counselors, but how many times would you have to go to a counselor for the counselor to even first get to know you, to be able to work with you? So here you know yourself, or you think you know yourself, so you work on yourself. That's it. End of story. The second stage is ACT, changing perceptions with the mind. This is often referred to as the belly of the whale stage. Now, what is this belly of the whale? Is the belly of the whale a very nice, clean, interesting, aromatic place to be in? No. It's stinky, it's yucky, and yet, it's a vital part of the whale's body, right? So when you get into the belly of the whale experience, you are at your lowest. And you pick yourself up and you say, I'm going to try this and I'm going to try that. If this doesn't work, I'm going to do something else. So this happens at the belly of the whale stage, using the mind to bring back the mind which has been hijacked by fear, doubt, worry, and the lie of lack and limitations. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it myself. Sometimes it is fine to take the assistance of someone who thinks like you. You remember the dimensions? You remember the dimensions we did last time?
Yes.
Yeah? So somebody who thinks like you, this reprogramming constitutes the by us stage. So from to us, we move to by us. Next, is this clear? Review. Changing perceptions with expanded consciousness. The road back. Move out of the doing stage and with acceptance and surrender, slipping into the flow of life. This is through us. This will be on Thursday. And the last one, share, living in the flow, returning with the elixir, moving into the being state and functioning competently, peacefully, powerfully, in alignment with our true nature. Not because somebody else has told us what to be, but what we have chosen to be. This is the at our stage of life, self-actualization. You must be familiar as B.Ed students with Maslow, with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and the revised Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Transcendence, self-actualization are at the top of the cone. And this is something which we are all capable of. The word all is in capital letters. So don't think, oh, she's capable of transcendence, not me. I'm a weakling. No, no, everyone, that's an excuse. That's a ruse to get away from this kind of work. But you do this kind of work and you'll see how easy it becomes. Because it becomes, how many days did we say does it take to change a habit or change a thinking mode? 21 days for the old habit to break down. And 63 days for a new habit to form, a new way of thinking to happen. So I'm sure all of us have those 63 days. But in those 63 days, we shouldn't have lapses. You can tell a friend that I'm working on myself, and if in case I tend to lapse, please pick me up. That person is your true friend. And that person may say something very, very harsh at that time to pick you up. And you should know that that is your friend. Okay? So, let's start. These 4 stages are in order, but they are non-linear. They are in order because they help us to move from bondage to freedom. Is there anyone here who wants bondage?
No.
No. None of us do. I want to break free. Yeah? Okay. But they are non-linear because we may be at different stages at different areas of our life. Now let's look at it. This will become clear. Keep this map with you in your pocket, on your phones, anywhere. This is the most important diagram that we'll be working with. Number 1, which is the last one, is that firstly you need to have that willingness to change. Second, the second stage is changing perceptions with the mind. Third stage is changing perceptions with expanded consciousness. Last stage, living in the flow and sharing the elixir. Now, you can, I'm first simplifying this for you. What are the emotions that we've worked on already? Fear, anger, chatter, boredom, and body image anxiety. There are many, many more, but in this course we've chosen to work on these. Alright? Now, here itself you could map. When it comes to fear, at which stage are you? Are you willing to change from being fearful to someone who is stronger, who is able to speak his or her truth peacefully and powerfully, as we said? So, any of these, if you don't have body image anxieties, then you're sorted. You don't need to work with it. Right? But whatever is your issue, you can use this as a map, and every month this could be your progress chart. You get that? Do you see how encouraging it will be? I've made a slight change. Today there was a situation way. I was able to control my anger, not repress or suppress, Not repress or suppress, just keep quiet and take it lying down. That will put you back in the victim stage. How did you deal with anger? You dealt with it well. Maybe in the very first month, you could jump from 1 to 3. When you come to 4, you are sharing it with the others because you have learned to accept it. Now, something frightens you when you don't know what it is really like. Now, the old adage, the old example that one gives, in the dark, you scream and you think that the rope is a snake. Once the light is turned on, you're sure it's a rope. After that, you're not going to stand and scream, right? It's the same with all our emotions. So keep this on your phone. I like to keep it on the phone. At least when I was working a lot on myself, this has been created by me. So with all my training in psychology in the US, I created this. And I find this very, very useful. Others have also found it useful. Maybe you will. So here you could even do it in generic areas. Your health. If health is an issue, usually all our problems are related to health, relationships, work, job or business, and spiritual growth, wisdom. So here too, you could use this map. Just now, if you feel that you have some health issues, are you going to remain in the victim state? Or are you going to do something about it? The minute you do something about it, you enter the second stage. Then with expanded awareness, you are looking for how this illness has had a psychological impact on you and how you have been able to now accept it with expanded awareness. And finally, what spiritual lessons has it taught? Please understand that when I use the word spiritual, I'm not using the word in the sense of religious. There's a definite difference. To put it metaphorically, there may be bananas of different color with different colored skins, but the fruit is the banana. So the different colored skins would be your different religions, but the fruit remains the same, because there's no religion which teaches you anything different, isn't it? I mean, unfortunately, in the world today, there is so much of Islamophobia. And Islam, the Quran, if you read it, it is a text, a sacred text, which has the highest number of peace messages. How interesting is that? So when we don't know something, when we've not read something, then we start fearing and we demonize. I'm not talking about any religion. I'm talking about spiritual lessons, soul lessons. What have you learned out of this? All right? This is clear. So this is something which is really important. Do this every month to map your movement towards what Maslow calls self-actualization. Write down practical ways in which you can make the shift happen. Now this seems like hard work. It seems so much easier to go to a counselor and say, well, this has happened to me, you're an expert, tell me what to do. But I don't know if personally I would like to be dependent on someone. I mean, it's like saying that I give you an amazingly sharp knife and I teach you how to cook. But you tell your boy, just take the knife, cook for me, I'll swallow it, I'll eat it. Up to you. Stage one. So, now we humans live by two selves. We have a personality self, which is what I call the tutu meme self. Katti, batti, she did this, he did that, she frowned at me, she didn't like me, she said this to me, ye phone ke baat do ghante chalti hai. Yeah? That's your personality self. But we also have a higher self, a transcendent self, which is known by different names. It could be called the monad, it could be called the atma, it could be called the soul, it could be called by many, many, many names. And we undeniably have this higher self. Have you ever experienced a conflict when you are tempted to do something and then you have literally two voices in your head? Yes. Telling you two different things? Yes? Yes? Would anyone like to give an example quickly? Anyone? If you want to share. Yeah.
So I have this thing going on where I was not getting time to pray in the morning. And then I saw this on an Instagram reel that there's a voice that's stopping you to not do that thing. And then every morning when I get up, when I do my bath, I freshen up and all that stuff, I immediately go, and whenever I say like, "Kya nikal karte," I immediately tell ki, "There's this voice stopping me, I have to do this," and I immediately sit down.
Literally, isn't it? And this happens all the time. all the time presented with choices. I love going on walks, daily morning walks, and or doing yoga. And if I'm not able to do it, I feel, oh, something's gone wrong, for whatever reason. Now I know I have to come to HSNC, so I finish my walk by walking from Churchgate to here, which is not far, it's 25 minutes. So, I manage it that way. But sometimes I do have this voice in my head which says, yeah, today it's very foggy, the pollution level is very high, kuch na kuch bana bana. And then I say, no, shut up, wear your sneakers and get out. So all the time there are these two voices. This friend angered me. I say, kabhi isse baat nahi karungi. Huh? Really? And then she, at the back of her mind, something saying, which I don't want to lose her at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So you have to manage that.
Sometimes it happens with parents also, like you're fighting with parents also.
Yeah.
So we think about it, why are we fighting? Why are we
Yeah. Even at that time, you're thinking that very nasty to someone. Just think it could be a stupid actor, actress, cricketer, God, prophet, anyone. Suppose Jesus was in the room with you, then would you say, Jesus, wait, let me finish screaming and come out? That's your best behavior, right? So we can do it. We can do it, but we choose not to. And whom do we throw temper tantrums with? Ones. It's always the loved ones who get it. You won't catch someone and say, I'm really angry, so I'm going to punch your nose. You won't do that. But you do it when you know you can get away with it. One day I was traveling by train, and there were two girls sitting, Mickey by College girls. Nothing against Mickey by College, of course. But sitting there, and I was returning from the university. And one of them was saying, "He kitna purana tera phone hai?" And the other one was saying, "हाँ क्या करूँ मम्मी को बोलती हूँ मगर सुनती ही नहीं." Then the other one, who was very ज्ञानी, he gave us advice. खाना छोड़ दे, घर में खाना छोड़ दे, बाहर आके खा ले, तो मम्मी पिघल जाएगी. Then like getting up and giving her one. You see the Gyani? This is what you kids would have called emotional atyachar. घर में मत खा, बाहर आके खा. There's no question of staying hungry. And your mother will fret, as mothers always do. So this is interesting, Human behavior is so interesting that you don't need any TV screen or any video game. If you just observe human behavior, it's 24 hours non-stop entertainment. So this invites you to first move out of your personality self, the self you have constructed, you. Now, since I'm emphasizing the word you, what is the implication, students? What am I implying?
It's in our hand.
Exactly. If I have constructed something, I can deconstruct it and I can reconstruct it. The choice is mine. The higher self is what you are blessed with, what you are born with. Any literature students here? Okay, if you've done Dr. Foster's, the good angels and the bad angels, there are always the good guys and the bad guys, and all the stories that you've read and all the films that you've seen, right? They're not all good, all bad. They're just aspects of your mind, just aspects. So your personality self, yes, you want something? So your personality self literally causes all the mischief. all the drama in our lives is caused by the personality self. I'm reminding you of this. We've done this earlier, but it's extremely important even here, that your beliefs, your perceptions become your beliefs. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. Knowing this to be true, you have to first start changing your thinking. Okay? Don't worry, this is all going to be with you. I'm leaving everything here. Okay? So don't worry, don't think of it. And most of it is in your manual as well. Now, combining cellular biology with quantum physics. Bruce Lipton, you can Google him if you don't know him. Innumerable videos, innumerable books, articles. He's a stem cell biologist. He says in his groundbreaking book, and I think this is a book which everyone should read, The Biology of Belief. It's also there as an audio book. He tells us that genes and DNA do not control our biology. Instead, DNA is controlled by signals from outside the cell, including the energetic messages emanating from our positive or negative thoughts. When I introduced you last time to technopoiesis, I talked about self and other consciousness. And the scientist John Wheeler who said that energy can manifest as a wave or as a particle depending on the consciousness of the observer. So that is why self-help books sell more than any other kind of books. Why? Because it really means working on yourself. Your positive or negative thoughts, as we saw in the earlier slide of Gandhiji also, are going to determine your destiny. Which is not to say, again I'm repeating, which is not to say that don't have negative thoughts. You're human. Negative thoughts will come. But when you see them like clouds, they drift away. When you own them, then you're in trouble. What did we say at an earlier stage? Don't say my thoughts. Say this thought has come to me. Imagine yourself as at a meeting and you have come up with a thought and you say this is my thought and someone shoots it down. What happens to you? You feel angry, you feel upset, you feel messed up. But if you say a thought came to me, it's much more objective. You may not say that, but say that in your mind. If you say a thought came to me, people will wonder what you're talking about. But say it in your mind. Don't own your thoughts. If you own your thoughts, you're asking for trouble. Especially when they are negative thoughts. So, they are all energetic messages. What do we often say? I can't help it. My mother is an angry person, or my father is an angry person, so they're my genes. No, it's not. In that old battle between nature and nurture, it's been there for centuries. It's more nurture. If a child sees that the parents react in a very, very angry manner to things they disagree upon, that's the way the child will become, nothing else. So it's not DNA, it's not biology. It's all our thinking. The truths again, which we need to remember, we do not get what we want, but what we put our attention to, because we have a participatory relationship with the universe, the wave and the particle. There is nothing intrinsic which will make energy a wave or a particle except our thinking. Am I making sense? Are you clear? Are you awake?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Unless we change the basic software of our unconscious, the hardware, the hard drive of our life cannot change. Just imagine that there is a song on your iPhone or your Android which you don't like. What do? You scream at the Android, you kick it, do you beat it? Delete it. Get on to something else. So if you can do that so easily, why can't you say, maybe I think she's done it in this manner and that angers me, but maybe not. Remember the snow globe
Yes.
I talked about, right? So how can I know really what her thinking is? So I think she's done it in this way, but maybe not. The minute there is maybe not, that anger is diffused. Okay? Right? The beliefs we have in stage 1. What are the beliefs? We cannot control our lives as things happen to us. And other than natural calamities or accidents, we can control everything. Right? We always have choices. We can control everything. The other belief we have is those outside us are the ones to be blamed. God, devil, parents, DNA, astrological configurations at birth. My Janam Kundli doesn't allow it. Employers, in-laws, enemies. She messed up my life. Really? You allowed your life to get this messed up. Unfortunately, by the universal law of attraction and resonance, these beliefs become self-fulfilling prophecies and bring unpleasant situations into our lives. In the book of Job, which is my favorite book from the Old Testament, Job was do you know the story? Job was the richest man in the land of Uz, and he was very, very devout. So one day, the devil went to God, and the devil said, "Who is your most ardent disciple on earth?" And God said, "Job." So the devil said, "Ha, that's because you've given him everything. But if you take it all away from him, he will curse you." And God said, "Okay, you can go and try him. You can do what you like, but don't touch his soul. His soul is mine." So the devil came on earth, and quickly he smote dead his family members. Of course, Job was very, very pained. He couldn't understand why suddenly, first his cattle. And Job couldn't understand why his cattle were lying dead. But all he said is, "The Lord hath given and the Lord hath taken, blessed be the name of the Lord." That's all he said. So the devil lost round 1. But the devil doesn't give up easily, does he? So, what is the devil? The mind, right? So the devil comes again, and this time his family. And still Job says the same thing. The third time, he gets boils all over his body. And any kind of skin infection was looked upon with a lot of trepidation. So the richest man in the land of Uz was put outside the city walls, and ash was applied because ash is antiseptic. And he was told not to walk in. And at that time, 3 friends come to him. The 3 friends, Bildad, Eliphaz, and Zophar, they tell him that he must have sinned in some way, and that's why he's being punished. And Job says, "No, I've not." And they go on and on and on trying to convince him. But Job says, "No, I have not. I don't understand why this has happened to me, but I choose not to blame God for it." And then God appears, and you have the 6 most beautiful nature lyrics where God asks, "Have you made the firmament? Have you made the trees and the birds and the plants and everything?" So you're right in believing that you don't understand. Our puny mind can't understand the infinite mind, whether you call it God or you call it consciousness, the quantum physics idea of consciousness. It's not possible for us to really imagine it. And then, of course, the devil loses and everything is restored. But the more Job fears that wrong will happen to him, the minute the cattle die, more wrong happens. And when we talked about the dimensions last time, we said that if you are vibrating at a certain level, you cannot attract the goodness that you are looking for. For instance, let's say you are pining for love. Not necessarily heterosexual love, it can be parental love, it can be anything. But love is not a vibration of the third dimension. For that, you need to raise your dimension, your vibration, to be able to match the vibration of love. And then you just find, maybe not your actual parents, they may or may not change, but somebody else will give you that kind of parental love. So it's very, very subtle. This kind of science is very subtle, but it's true. So this is, as I told you, when the law of attraction first came out, and we had Rhonda Bryan's secret, and people said that they were studying the secret, they were sincerely practicing it, and yet not getting what they wanted. That's because they did not learn at that time, and she did not talk about it in her book. That they need to move to a higher vibration to attract that. And it's something lower, the lower vibrations could come. I want money, I want car, I want a guy, I want somebody I know actually said, I want a guy who's done an MBA, who has a car, and who's taller than me. And voila, she got that kind of guy. After that, the marriage happened, and then all the drama started. So then she tried the law of attraction. And do you think it worked? It's worth celebrating. But unless you are able to do this work of matching your vibration, right? So, these are the beliefs. Let's continue with the beliefs. I have to press 3 times to make it happen. Don't worry, don't worry. What is our behavior in stage 1? We make excuses for our behavior. Why did you come late to class? Honestly, train, bus, accidents, signals, whatever, I got up late. Would be more truthful, right? But that requires courage. So make excuses for our behavior. Rationalize. Give good rather than true reasons. Give good rather than true reasons. Let's take a very simple example. You don't like a neighbor too much, and actually you're quite irritated with that neighbor. And that neighbor comes one morning sporting the BMW of your dreams. Alright? What are you likely to say? I really wish you all the joy with it. No, you will bitch about that person. You will tell your next door neighbor, yeah, black ka paisa kahan jane wala hai? It has to come. Yeah? You're not giving the true reason, because you can't say, I'm jealous. Then the other person will look at you, jealous. Of course, if you're human, you're going to feel that emotion. And you don't want to admit it. So you are going to talk about that person's black money, and you have no business to talk about it because it's not, it didn't cheat you and make that money. But it's your exact brand of BMW that you had in mind. Right? So then you're constantly giving, it becomes a habit in life that we're constantly giving good rather than true reasons. Okay, you've started a diet plan. Why is it that you've not lost weight? Oh, that's my mother, that's my so-and-so, whoever. Yeah.
Ma'am, usually the diet plan doesn't work because people are not consistent with it. So that's
Exactly, that's the truth. That आज ये कुछ खा लिया, कल brownie खा लिया, the next day कुछ pasta खा लिया, and then you pretend to be very rigid about it when you know you're not. And then when you stand on the weighing scale, you're just the same, and then you're going to tell your dietitian, it's not me, it's not me. It could even be the tablets, and the tablets made me put on weight. I was losing weight very well. You know, as I said, I mean, losing weight is not the be all and end all of life. But I'll give you examples like that, where we are always wanting to give good rather than true reasons. Because we understand that better when we move to the stages of the mind, the levels of the mind. We'll do that in greater detail. You try to justify. You try to justify yourself. No, I'm right. My thinking is right. She's wrong. He is wrong. They don't understand me. Oh, how we love complex. I'm such a nice person. Nobody understands. Nobody. Refuse to take responsibility for our words and actions. Plead and bargain. Exhibit fear, lack, worry, doubt. Ceaselessly experience mentations. Mentations are the loops, thinking loops in your mind. They are the mentations. And regurgitate the same thoughts. We did it in mind chatter. Right? Display addictive behavior to substance, to food, to sex, to work, to gadgets, even work. That's why we have a term like workaholic. When that person just can't stop working, right? So this is the typical behavior of stage. Did anyone say anything? Yeah? Stop me out if you want to contribute. When does it all begin? It all begins before the age of 6 or 7. We pick up self-abusive ways of functioning from people around us. Thank you so much. Also, collective beliefs add to the emotional contagion. When we do the shadow as a sub-personality within ourselves, we will understand this better. But what in brief right now, whatever society rejects or looks down upon, we throw into our metaphorical backpack at the back. It doesn't go away. It stays there. Others can see it, we can't. So that becomes a shadow figure. We'll work on that later. It becomes ingrained in our consciousness, and our unconscious controls 95% of our behavior. We've said this earlier. 95% of our behavior is controlled by our unconscious and 5% by the conscious mind. So if we go on saying that positive thinking, for instance, nothing wrong with positive thinking. But why does positive thinking often not work? Because the subconscious is not addressed. All right?
Yes.
After the age of 12, we operate on autopilot. So the early stages, especially for you teachers, it's so important to realize that I'm not asking you to be exemplary or role models which students will want to emulate. That will happen unconsciously. If you're just being true to yourself, if you are true to yourself, if you demonstrate control, if you demonstrate joy, it obviously radiates. You don't have to make any effort there at all. Isn't it true to say that as students, we have an uncanny way of finding out whether a teacher is teaching from the heart or teaching only from the head and is a talking mouthpiece? How easily we find that out, right? Students do the same with us. Students also, even the tiniest of children, a pre-primary class, will connect with a teacher who loves her job, who loves children. If I'm teaching literature and I don't like literature, but I'm doing it for a job, then I'm going to be a very, very boring teacher. Because I'm not going to put my heart and soul into it. I'm not going to think of diverse ways in which I can make it interesting. And the students will not respond to me well, isn't it?
Yes.
Natural, absolutely natural. Yeah. Next. To move out of stage 1 and progress to stage 2, you need to ask yourself these questions. Are there any payoffs that I'm enjoying by playing the victim? And there are huge payoffs when you think of yourself as victim. Isn't it? Huge payoffs. I mean, bechari me. I can't help it, no? Huge payoffs. Next, am I willing to release my blame and shame stories along with their tributaries without judgment now? Am I willing to release? Or do I enjoy them so much that I have no real desire to release them? Third, am I determined to neither host nor attend pity parties but shift my own perception? Fourth, am I willing to forgive not necessarily the act but not necessarily the person, and release the energy of unforgiveness, knowing that it cannot transform me? If I go on hating and hating and hating, it can't help me in any way. Finally, am I willing to deactivate meditations? We talked about ways in which you can deactivate your mind chatter, remember?
Yes.
Meditations and addictive behavior. Now, what I want you to do is, I'm going to give you 10 minutes, where you are going to look at these and apply it to any one troublesome area of your life. Select any one issue from the health, relationships, job and success, or spiritual growth areas. Review the previous slide and honestly answer the 5 questions in relation to the issue you have chosen to work on. If you like, you can do it in your manual, but if you feel that it's too personal and you don't want to put it in your manual, you can do it on another piece of paper or in your diary. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes for this. You can close it. 10 minutes every working. Yeah, this has to be on. This has to be on. You have it. You have it. The earlier slide?
We have the question.
I know you have it, but I just thought you might want to look at it and fine. Just turn it off.
No, they want this slide so that they can.
Okay, fine. Leave it up. Leave it up. Leave this off. And honestly, very honestly, do this work in silence. Please don't talk. Please don't talk. This is very important work. Work on your own. Okay? Up to 10:25. understand anything there, you can call me. I'll come up to you. Anyone else? Just put up your hand and I'll come to you. I think a lot of people have trouble with the second question. So basically it means that when we behave in a certain way, we want others to put their rubber stamp on it and to say that we have behaved correctly. Now, when this happens, you're not likely to change because that makes you feel that you were right and the other was wrong. Even if that person says that somebody, the other was not that bad, it wasn't so bad, you still feel inwardly that no, I'd rather be in that position where I justify myself. Not likely to change. Huh? Okay. Want me to help there? You'll discuss.
are there any payoffs that I'm enjoying from playing the victim? My answer was satisfying my ego self.
Absolutely, absolutely. The role of the victim is a very, very, come. The role of the victim puts you in a poor me position, which is very satisfying to your ego. Brilliant. Yeah, next.
Second, am I willing to release my blame and shame stories along with their tributaries without judgment now? So I wrote, anyone as a human want to feel good at their worst. I'm a kind of person who won't ever express verbally, but you will able to figure out by my behavior or my mood.
Alright, so the question still remains. Then are you willing to release that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have an answer to that yet.
Okay.
I've gone through this really recently, so this is like fresh in my mind.
Absolutely. Very good. Would somebody else like to do 3 and 4? Anyone else? Continue. Okay, yeah, come. Thank you.
So for third question, I wrote that, am I determined to need a host, nor attend many parties, but shift my own perception? I wrote, I should do it, I can do it. And
Okay.
it is in my hands, and I can make the change happen if I stop procrastinating and believe in myself.
Please, you don't have to be harsh on yourself, but you have to be alert to catch yourself. Otherwise, there will be a downward spiral. Yeah.
For the fourth one, am I willing to forgive and release the energy of unforgiveness? I wrote that I want to be a little, love myself a little more at the very least and make that change. And forgive myself for.
We are doing a whole section on forgiveness. Session 12, there will be a section on forgiveness. Yeah, very good, very good. It's sometimes very easy to forgive people, other people, but you are very harsh on yourself. But you don't realize that the past is the past, it's gone. We are human, we make mistakes, but the only resolution that you should take is that I don't repeat those mistakes. Yeah. Last one?
Yes, am I willing to activate temptations and addictive behavior? I'm going to try to make that change happen and one day at a time. That's what I've written, and to take care of myself and my body, and both physically and mentally. My health.
Thank you.
Question was related to health. So
Yeah, sure. But it's also a huge issue with addictions. When you don't feel good about yourself, you often indulge in emotional eating. You realize that? A lot of people, or totally starving. It's either or. Both of which are terribly unhealthy. Because of the mentations in your mind, which you're not able to short circuit, you go on and on feeling upset about it, and then you don't even eat mindfully. You just pop the first thing that comes to your mouth to you. Or you say, when I'm upset, I eat my comfort foods. Alright? So what are these comfort foods? Anything that you are addicted to. It could be a good addiction, it could be a bad addiction. It could be addicted. If I say, for instance, that my head starts hurting in the morning if I don't have my first cup of coffee. That is not true. I can manage. There is no problem, but I have told myself over a period of time that I can't do. Anything you feel you can't do without. And today we have a huge problem of digital addiction. Apart from the other substance addictions and all, I mean, why do you get addicted to a substance? I've been working with a brilliant Padma Shri awardee in addictions. He's got this whole institute in Bandra called Kripa. And if you know of anyone who is addicted, I think that's one program that really works. But he's so empathetic towards those who are addicted. There's something within you which is not making you feel good about yourself, and you feel that something in the outside world is going to make you feel good. I mean, I was teaching once in the university, and I had one student who owned up without even my asking. And I was teaching literature, I was doing other things, and I don't know how that topic even came up. I really can't remember. But she said that she was so addicted to her video game that she was playing that when her grandmother stepped into the room and for the 5th time asked her to come for dinner, she slapped her grandmother. And she was full of remorse, and she said, I don't know what overcame me, but I cannot get away from a video game. And we know this to be true of a lot of young people. And it is a fact because it gives you, it triggers your happiness hormones. But anything which triggers at the expense of making you dependent on it, whether it is a phone or it is a digital device or it is a substance, anything you feel you cannot do without is a problem. That is why there is so much truth in the simple adage, simple living and high thinking. You know, if my phone is for a day, it's okay. But the minute a notification comes, we immediately grab it as if it's the end of the world. Weren't we living without our phones? Weren't we having dinner with our families where people were not fubbing? You know, that's a word which has now entered the dictionary, fubbing. Because each one is completely absorbed in his or her digital device and human interaction really suffers. So can we decide that there are times when we will look at the phone 2 to 3 times a day, 10 times a day, you decide, but not all the time. Because when it becomes all the time, it's an addiction. When you feel that even for your entertainment, you need to go there. Well, I mean, it could be used just for messages and for keeping in touch with people, WhatsApp messages, whatever. You get these long videos, your WhatsApp videos are sometimes 1 hour, 1.5 hours long. And you are glued to it. And then how it captures your attention. So this is something we really need to look at, and only you can work on yourself. Right? Now, the next stage, stage 2, which is the acting mode. Changing perceptions by actively doing things. If you know that you have an addiction, particularly an addiction to a substance, and you know what substance addiction does, it just triggers the parts of the brain, and you biochemically need it. You biochemically need it. So that's when you would probably have to go in, not only for a simple detox, but a complete detox of your thinking. So that's a doing mode. This is a second doing mode, the belly of the whale stage. And we talked about this, the universal law of attraction, resonance, and manifestation. Things happen according to mental patterns, our mental patterns. This is a realization. And feeling, and the feeling tone in us. You remember that whole continuum I did? Event, thought, multiple thinking, emotion, action, and outcome. Please remember that. This is very, very important. This is because our thoughts and emotions are measurable. The key word here is measurable units of energy. Every time you put a thought out, there is a ripple effect. It goes out and it comes back to you. And it affects people because we human beings have what is called mirror neurons in us. So our mood, our behavior affects other people as well. Suppose I were to come here and tell you this is an extremely important course and you just have to do. All the things that I say here are beyond doubt true. So just write about it and finish it. Would you connect with me?
No.
When I look you in the eyes and I tell you that this is something which not only I've undergone, but which a lot of young people who work with me have undergone. Thankfully now more and more people are realizing since my book is out. I just got a request yesterday from Stanford University that they would want a module to be done by me exactly on this. I mean, I'd rather do literature, which is my passion, but I know how important this is. So, I mean, it has a ripple effect. Thoughts, emotions have a ripple effect. So, if you look at a baby and the baby is smiling at you and you do this, the poor kid's going to be confused, I mean, grumpy pose. It happens all the time with us, all the time. That is why human interaction is extremely important and cannot be replaced by interacting with your digital devices. I have nothing against digital devices, but it cannot be replaced. Thoughts that emanate from joy and connection are more powerful than debilitating thoughts, but they manifest all the same. If you have a bad thought, it does manifest, right? Rewire the brain with empowering thoughts. I did a whole seminar on this. Rewiring the brain to live life intelligently. Yeah. We understand some basic truths as well at stage 2. Everything is energy, and energy can neither be destroyed or created. We've been told this by Einstein and subsequent scientists. It can only be changed vibrationally. That's all. So the change can happen if you agree to it. Therefore, stage 1 must lead up to stage 2. We are a part of both the explicit and the implicit order. At the level of the explicit order, we are all entirely different. But at the level of the implicit order, at the deeper level, we are all energetically interconnected. Remember? Sourceful education, I did that. So the implicit and the explicit. Again, important reminders here. Since we are energy, we have participatory relationship with the universe. The same thing I just talked about earlier. Energy manifests as a wave or a substance depending on the consciousness of the observer. It's so powerful. I had an uncle who expired at the age of 93 and who was a total foodie. And he loved sweets. So if we would tell him, don't have that much, it could lead to diabetes, he says, I don't know the word. And he never had it, because he didn't believe in it. But the little that we eat, we say, oh my, if I eat too much of this, this will happen. It was a belief that nothing will happen to me, I'm going to enjoy the food I love. I'm not telling you to do the same, please don't try it out and then blame me. But literally, I mean, it was stunning. He would just eat the kind of food he wanted to eat. And the doctor would say, oh, don't give him this, don't give him that, don't give him this. And he would say, don't do this. And he would say, to hell with the doctor. Nothing can happen to me. This is good food. End of story. All the way up to the age of 93. And when he died having eaten chocolate cake. What's that? Just a belief that it would. And here we are bombarded, constantly bombarded with all kinds of things, half of which are lies. Because coconut was bad, then coconut became good. Butter was bad, but with keto it became good. Then egg yolk was bad till it became good, and it goes on, this nonsense. But because we believe, it actually happens to us. And today we are more sick than people of the earlier generations. Of course, the pollution levels and all is another story. But today we are more sick because we believe in that. You can't eat this, you can't eat that. Now ghee was bad, now ghee is in. Rice was bad, with Rujuta Devakar it's in. What nonsense is this, you know? What nonsense is this? Anything you eat in moderation, not like my uncle, but like, you know, he would actually sneak and get people to get him chocolates and put it under his bed. It was that bad. It was an addiction. Okay, so by shifting ourselves energetically, our perceptions and our corresponding feeling tone, we can change things for ourselves. These are important reminders. Try as hard as we can. This is very important. We can't change it. So don't say that, oh, I'm going to marry this man. He's quite nice in every way, but there are 17 things I don't like about him. And then I'll make him change because of the love for me. You'll be totally disillusioned at the end of it. Or vice versa. Okay. Now, with the consciousness of a manifestor, because we interact with our environment, self does not end with your body. You are energetically interconnected with your environment. Therefore, we can change the energetic signatures in our outer world to change our inner world. I'm not recommending any of these, please, but these are the ways in which you change the energy flow. Through feng shui, vastu, ritual ceremonies, crystal therapy, color therapy, music therapy, aromatherapy, batch flower therapy, graphology. Batch flower is extract essences from flowers, and it works brilliantly for everyone, from a newborn child to a person of 95. Batch flower is on bark. If we were to use a European pronunciation, it would be Bach, like the musician Bach. But this is Batch. Richard Batch was English, so that's the Batch flower is brilliant even for calming your moods and other things with no side effects at all. For emotions, it is one of the most brilliant ways. And I learned that. I did a very advanced course on that as well, because I wanted to work with myself. If you go to a batch flower therapist, they charge you the earth. It's very expensive. So I did a course and I thoroughly learned it. That's the end of it. Graphology, vision boards, candles, sacred symbols, statues, photographs, whatever. Whatever in your external environment. Okay? So these are the ways in which you can change the energetic signal. Now just imagine that if this room were to be done up in a more pleasant way, if you had a potted plant here, a painting there, or something else, you know, which would make it more interesting, which would make it bring in more color, more beauty, because we human beings respond to beauty. So that creates what is often called positive vibes. But I don't know about positive, I just know that I love being in a room where everything is neat and tidy and things are beautiful in themselves. It can be a small place, but when you come to, just imagine going back to a room where things are thrown around and everything is in a mess. You know, I forget the name of this Japanese woman who has written a whole book on how to keep your clothes tidy and all of that. She's very well known, even on YouTube. I mean, we know that, don't we? We know that we want to come back to a room which is looking good. So these are the different ways in which. Now you can, if you get up as I do in the morning, and I love listening to music. And it can be any kind of chanting or gentle lyrical music. It just sets the tone for the day. It just sets the tone for the day. So these are the ways in which you can start feeling good instead of feeling, you know, messed up and irritated. A messy room actually indicates a very messed up psyche. And it's true, there's no judgment here. There's no judgment here, but a messed up room indicates a messed up psyche. So if you feel that you can start, you want to start somewhere, you can start with something as simple as tidying up your room. Next. With the consciousness of the manifestor, we can also change the inner world. The outer world, you've done with feng shui, vastu, whatever. Now you can also change your inner world with affirmative prayers. You know that Louise Hay, the writer of Heal Your Life, she has come up with the most brilliant affirmations, and she cured herself of cancer and died out at a very, very late stage. Affirmations and affirmations. Now what are affirmations? Affirmation is saying that I am healed, happy and energetic. Affirmations is when you put it into a question form. Why is it that I'm so quickly healed, happy and energetic? What happens? You're tricking your brain. The minute the brain is asked for a question, psychologically, it starts looking for an answer in the outside world. And that's what you attract towards you. So have you got the difference between the two, affirmations and affirmations? Yes. Forming questions. Remember it that way. Decrees, which are declarations. Creative visualizations and meditations, which we'll be doing in this course. Jungian and positive psychology, which is this course. And EFT, emotional freedom technique, and kinesiology, body kinesiology. These are just some of them. Anyone here knows what is EFT? Emotional freedom technique. It's a very, very simple technique. Very simple. Please don't pay 12,000 to go and learn it. It is super simple. There are just certain energetic centers in the body. And this is called the tapping solution. And with your two fingers, when you are tapping on certain areas of your body, by saying certain things, you can actually change behavior. This is a proven technique called emotional freedom technique. What is kinesiology? Muscle kinesiology is based on the truth that the body never lies. The body never lies. So, if anyone would like to come up here, I can demonstrate it. Yeah, come. She just put up a hand. Sorry. I just want to do it quickly. I just want to demonstrate it and we'll move on. You know her name?
Yes.
I'm going to try and push her hand out. And she's going to stop me. You resist me. Okay? Say, my name is Susan. My name is Susan. Yeah.
My name is Susan.
Okay. Very easily I could push it down. Now, say your actual name.
My name is Benisha.
I'm putting the same pressure. I'm putting the same pressure, and the truth, whatever is true, is going to be manifested through your muscles. This is muscle kinesiology. Of course, it seems like fun because we've just done it, but you can do it for any aspect of your life. Any aspect. Sugar is good for me. Avocado is good for me. This distillery water or that water is good for me. Anything can be done with muscle kinesiology, and then of course you move on to higher levels. So this is another way of working on yourself. Next, we continue. Many of you may have heard of Reiki, the energetic system, which really heals. Different levels of healing. Even the worst kind of diseases can be healed with Reiki, with angels. Angels are not some airy-fairy, cute-bottomed creatures flying around. But they are very real. We're all born with guardian angels, and they are celestial beings who are constantly there to help us. Every religion talks about them, whether it is Farishte or Dhoot or whatever. The work I talked about, Byron Katie, Socratic questions, switch words, again, through the power of words and the vibration of words, you change things. Energy circles, shamanism, which is earth-based spiritualities, hypnotherapy and past life regression. And I mean, I wouldn't really recommend it unless there's a very serious issue. Because you have enough to deal with in this life for you to go back to your past lives. Reconnective healing, art-based therapy, cognitive-based therapy, there are just that many. So don't go around, I'm not recommending that you do all of them, whatever you resonate with. And based on what kind of issue you have, you do that. So that is when you're actively doing, you're taking courses, you're learning how to manage yourself. Okay? Next. We then understand that lack of anything is a lie. The universe is abundant, but our distribution systems are faulty. We do not need to pester the staff in the cosmic kitchen once we've sent out a request, as it argues lack of faith. I put it metaphorically, I should have put it simply. Basically, once you put out a request, then don't go on pestering. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. You want this, you've said it once. Just trust that it will happen. When you go to a restaurant and you order a sandwich, do you run behind the waiter and say, oh, have you made it, and have you got the bread, and have you got the salad, and have you got... You don't do that. You trust. It's going to come to your table. So similar. Maintain a flow by giving and receiving. This is very, very important. Today, most of our young people, our children particularly, are encouraged to be receivers and not givers. This blocks the energy. If you give, you will receive. It's both ways. And don't they? Most of the religions talk about giving some money at the end of a mass, feeding the poor, or doing something. Parting with your money, because that is something very, very major for us. We don't mind giving out old clothes and old shoes and old books, but when it comes to money, we're super careful and we resist it. But the more you give, the more you receive. That is the law of the universe. If something is not happening the way we desire, it's because we are not comprehending the hidden lesson. There is a lesson embedded in everything that happens. As I said, when something passes through your mind without creating a ripple, are you with me? Yeah? If something passes through your mind without creating a ripple, then it's not relevant. But if it creates a ripple, then it means there's something you need to do about it. You need to work on it. Okay? Similarly, when bad things happen to good people at both the individual and collective level, there are powerful lessons in positivity that is waiting to be unfolded. And you can say, how absurd is this? How can this be true? How can this be true? Any guesses? Haven't you seen that in life, strangely, life is very unfair? And very often good people are the ones who suffer, and the bad people, I mean, I don't like this kind of relative term, good or bad, it brings in judgment, but people who do wrong, they are thriving. So, I mean, how do we make sense of that? Any guesses? Why does it happen? It seems ridiculous to say this, but the truth is, and this is again, a lot of research has gone into this, that when something happens to us and we have desire, our soul's desire is to mature. These things keep happening to us and we transcend each suffering. You remember something I said earlier in the course? You can experience pain, but you can choose not to suffer.
Yes.
Yeah? So that happens. And therefore, at the end of it, you come out more peaceful. You may not have all the money in the world. You may not have all the riches in the world. You may not have what the so-called unethical people have. But you have something more precious than that. You have your peace of mind. You can go to sleep with a very clear conscience without worrying. Huh? I mean, are you any of the Ambanis or Adanis or anybody who will say, oh my God, what will happen to my business tomorrow? I've only got 17 million crores and whatever here, whatever there. You don't have those worries. So if we judge life superficially, then yes, it seems extremely wrong what's happening. But at a deeper level, there is some hidden message in that. Yeah. To move out of stage 2 and progress to stage 3, you need to ask yourself the following questions. Am I gaining control over my meditations and negative feelings? Initially, the question was, am I willing to? Now, am I actually doing? Second, am I able to creatively visualize ways of making my life more peaceful and happy? But only I can do that. Third, am I able to tap into the field of abundance that is everywhere? Abundance doesn't only mean material things. It is of wisdom, abundance of love, abundance of caring. It could be any form of abundance. Have I understood why at times things do not manifest for me? At a very ridiculous, simple level. I was desperate, I fought with my parents, I wanted a motorcycle, didn't get it, cursed them, angry. If probably the person would have got it and met with an accident, God knows what. God knows what. We don't know why things don't happen the way we hope they will. So there is meaning. You see, that some time back, there was a very, very beautiful write-up in the sacred space of Times of India. A little boy is looking at his mother embroidering, and he is really tiny. So he sees only the back, the reverse, and it's so messy. As he grows up, he realizes there is a pattern. So as you grow up, as you mature, you will find there was a meaning, there was a pattern, there was a reason why things did not happen the way you wanted them to happen. Yes, it does happen. And you realize it in retrospect. But at that moment it seems, oh, why me? Others have it, I don't, why me? And then you realize that no, there was a definite purpose to it. So, have I understood why bad things happen to good people at the level of the collective? This is the most painful and the most problematic of all the questions. What have people done in Palestine to be just massacred this way? What have they done in Ukraine? We don't seem to be very intelligent creatures. We don't seem to be learning that there is never, never, never a war which can be won. War only results in losers. What is the message to the world? The fanaticism? What are we supposed to get out of this? This is a very, very painful one. Am I consciously honoring the law of circulation by giving and receiving with joy? One of the richest persons in Japan, and he says that whenever he gives something, he says, thank you. Where normally when we receive something, we say thank you. And he says thank you when he's giving, because you've given me the chance to let the money circulate. And he's a big, big giver among several other things. He runs courses and all. But he's got books and all kinds of things. So am I consciously honoring the law of circulation by giving and receiving with joy? Not because I'm supposed to, but with joy. Have I accepted the truth that I am an expression of love, intelligence, beauty, and abundance? So when you've done this, you are ready for stage 3. So in the next few moments again, you could look at these questions, think of any area of your life and work on it. trouble, any problems, you please bring them to me next time and we'll try and sort them out.
Yes.
Okay? Alright? And go through everything that we've done up to this point, because then after this Thursday, we will only be meeting on 11 directly for your formative. So if you have any trouble, I'd like to iron that out. And then you step into your first formative assessment without any trepidation, no nervousness. But has this course been difficult for you? No. Right? Because it's actually connected with your day-to-day living.
Yes.
So it's not a difficult course, so you're not going to be worried. But if you are interested in painting and collage making and all, you will bring your own materials on Tuesday. Okay? But before Tuesday,
Thursday.
what's the 11th?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, okay. But we'll iron out everything before. Yeah. We have one Tuesday class and then Thursday is a formative. Okay? Thank you very much. Dr. Balani and I have something to talk about.
You can start. You started this, I guess.
So there is a bit of conspiracy here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Alright. So we thought that instead of getting subsequent batches of students to merely watch me teaching you on video, we thought you'd be able to do peer teaching. You have the videos, you have the manuals, you have the material, and what you can do is choose micro sections and teach the DED teachers, teach other students from psychology, media, whoever, so that this program can really prove to be beneficial for the students of HSLC University. And you keep the ball rolling that way. Because, as I said, I'm teaching this course only once. After that, Vice Chancellor Bagla has said that I should only come in for the first class and I'll address the students, the new batch of students, after which you can take over. And you can decide in groups, as individuals, what you want to teach, how you want to teach, make it more innovative. Make it more innovative. It's yours. The content is yours then. And you will be able to connect with the younger people, I think, better than me. So just go ahead and do it and help society as a whole. So this becomes a practice in social, emotional, and ethical learning, which is what NEP wants you to teach at the school level. And it becomes a practice of micro-teaching, and it becomes service to the rest of the students of this university. So,
Very good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Now, if you look at our age, ma'am and myself, everybody has got its own shelf life. So we cannot be here for a longer period of time. And the kind of legacy that we have got from our teachers, we are passing on to you. So, how many days we will be here and all the time we'll be talking to you. Now it's time that you shall start talking. You shall start learning the pedagogies that ma'am has taught you or other faculty members from our study college and schools. And then, as ma'am said, that be innovative in your own approach. And one more thing is also equally true that now since you are very young, you can start your journey with the DLED class. Now the DLED class is much more younger than you. And now since you are graduate also, and I believe that if you work, ma'am has given PPTs, so you don't need to prepare the PPT. We have recorded everything. The recording will be available to you for learning. So please emulate ma'am the way she has conducted classes for you. Look at the social environment. The most important thing is the environment. Look at the social environment and try to maintain that level of discipline in the class. That is the most important thing. 80% of efficacy of any instruction is based on the kind of environment it has. And then just visualize how she has maintained the eye contact with each one of you. And I think each word that she is spoken in all her communication must have reached to you.
Yes.
So I believe that it's high time for all of you to go home. We will give you links, all recorded videos. We will also where you will be able to start very instant. We will first ask few of the volunteers who may feel more confident, who may say that I'm more prepared. We will take your demos of 4 to 5 minutes and we will check whether you are delivering really good stuff or not. We will do the selection and selected students will be sent for practicing in the DLA program. And then you can also ask your colleagues to do the video recording for yourself, because all these, we can say, pieces of your work, good pieces of your work, you must preserve it for the purpose of creating your e-portfolio. This is very, very important. So gradually, the more you will get involved in the process of learning and recording all your performances, this will help you to create your own portfolio. And portfolio development can be a lifetime memory for all of you.
I know that you've got the manuals, you've got the videos, you've got everything that I want to give. You'll have the book, right? So everything is there. All the material is there. And you can bring in your innovation. Like that day, one of the girls came and showed me that she had done a project on beauty standards in Korea. You brought it to my notice. And that was something which I'm not aware of. So you could bring that into your teaching and you can make it interesting. And if there are questions which you are asked to which you don't have the answers, it's not a problem to just say, I don't know it, I'll try and find out. I'm there to support you. I'll be on WhatsApp with you, I can be on phone with you. I'm there to support you, but I want you people to become very, very strong SEL teachers.
So it's not easy to put your legs in them shoes. You will need at least 15 to 20 years. It's not so easy, but at least you can start with. At least you can start with. And we want to see many more, we can say, clones of me, ma'am, in each one of you. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but maybe down the line after 10 years, 15 years. I believe that we will be able to see you when you
or something better, or better than me, much better than me.
Yes. So I think that.
So we are there to support you.
Yeah.
Just know we are there to support you. And the whole purpose of this is that you pass on this legacy to someone else. And you become such powerful teachers when you are in control of yourself, when you are teaching, when people are not able to trigger you in class, when your colleagues are not able to trigger you because you can manage yourself. It's a win-win situation, isn't it?
So, ma'am, thank you very much.
Thank you.
She is a mentor to all the PTC faculty and to me also. And she has earned a very good name by doing a noble work, the way she has been doing, the way she has been serving the society, even at this age also. We must be grateful to you, ma'am, for supporting, supporting our students. And I believe that please follow each and every word ma'am has spoken to you, has told you. And I believe that you, no doubt, this will help you to become a very good human being, but as well as you will also help to show a very good, we can say, path to your students to live a happy life.
And if 4 of you, for instance, could get together and you can decide that I want to do boredom, or I want to do mind chatter, or I want to do body image anxieties, or I want to do cars, which you can get together. You don't have to work in isolation. And then you can sit together and see the videos and then say, how can we teach it even better? I will be delighted when you teach it better.
Yes, we will be mentoring you, we will be looking into your work, and I believe that in the due course of time you will get the guidance from the ma'am. Create your own videos. We will call her. She will look into your work and she will give the further guidance. So I believe that together we can do a lot.
And we'll be doing one more course as well on global citizenship education through techno courses. So I suppose it will be with the same group. You're going to have to suffer me for long. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.